Right then, in this video I'm going to show you the best busway I've ever come across. This busway is in a completely different league to any other busway I've ever seen. This busway is timetabled to have a bus every 15 seconds, all running on the same route. You don't have to wait very long for a bus on this system. Also, this busway is entirely segregated, dedicated route. It is pretty much a metro system with buses. Apart from one location on the system, the rest of the route has no conflicts with cars because the whole thing is built on viaducts and bridges, so the bus never has that conflict with other traffic. So it literally is a metro system, but with buses. And the busway I am talking about is the Metrobüs system in Istanbul in Turkey. Let's just talk about how other busways get wrong compared with what Istanbul's busway gets right. So let's think about busways in the UK. And there's so much potential in a busway, and I personally felt these systems should be built more because they can really work well. The reason why most busways are thought of in the first place is because of the pros and cons versus a tram system. With a tram you have to build a tram track through the entire route, while on a busway you can have one bit of a route as busway, then at the end of the route the buses can leave the busway and then become a regular bus service. And it's for that flexibility which is what makes public transport operators want to choose a busway. In practice though, it doesn't work because it always gets eaten away at to the point where the system becomes useless. Here is a typical scenario where that happens. The council goes, we want to have a proper metro system in our city to make our city better, but metros are really expensive, so let's use buses instead. As long as we have the buses to the same grade as a metro, it'll be just as good, which I'm going to argue initially is true, but it gets eaten away at because the next thing is, but we can't build the entire thing. We'll just have a little bit as a dedicated busway, then the rest of the system it'll just run on the regular roads. Then it gets eaten away at even more. What about all of the road junctions? All those car drivers will get annoyed with all the delays because the buses have priority. I know, let's not give the buses priority, so the buses have to wait in traffic. And next thing, all the car drivers are pissed off because we're taking away lanes of the road for a busway, and cars want to use the busway as well. Then the next thing is, well, surely we should let some other vehicles use the busway, like emergency services. We have to let police cars use it and ambulances and fire engines, of course. Oh, but what about cyclists? Cyclists can cycle wherever the fuck they want. They're going to use it as well. So if cyclists are going to use it, well, why not have motorbikes using it? And what about certain people that have to use a car because they don't have any other choice? Well, they get special status. They can use the busway as well. And before you know it, it's no longer a busway. And on that last example, I'm actually talking about a system in Milan, which has got a ring road busway round the outside, and there's so many vehicles using it which aren't buses. It's like, what's the fucking point? So usually you end up with really pathetic little systems. For example, the busway in England with the exact same name as the one in Istanbul, which is the Metrobüs in Crawley. And what a shit system it is. It's meant to be a proper guided busway. In the end, only tiny little sections of it are guided, and the sections are so small that bus drivers don't even want to use it, because if the bus is going down the road at like 30 miles an hour, bus driver doesn't want to slow all the way down to join the busway then speed up again, so they just skip the busway and drive past. It is a really bad system. Then the other thing is frequency of service. Like, if you want to have a metro system but using buses, you have to have the same frequency as a metro system, like a bus every 2 minutes. But not a single busway in the UK has a service that frequent. Even the best systems, and I count the best guided busway as Cambridge and the best non-guided busway as Fast Track. Even those don't have particularly frequent service and are not in the same league as the one in Istanbul. So, in other words, all of the busways in the UK are not proper busways, they're just improved bus services. Now, with that said, I was actually very impressed by the Luton and Dunstable busway when I went on it almost 10 years ago. But will I still be impressed with it now I'm a lot more well-travelled? I'll answer that question at the end of the video. As for now, let's take a look at the Istanbul Metrobüs system. When I visited Istanbul, I counted a bus every 20 seconds. That is a crazily good service. Every single bus stop on the route is built like it's a tram stop or metro station. They put in the full proper infrastructure here. While waiting for a bus, it feels like you're waiting for a train, because to make a busway work properly you have to put in the effort to build proper infrastructure. The entire route, apart from one section, is entirely dedicated. The buses run on their own road with no conflicting traffic, and most of it's down the middle of a dual carriageway. All of the cars that want to go across the busway run on roads that either go above or below it. The buses never have a direct conflicting road junction with cars anywhere on the route. And the reason why they built this as a busway and not a metro or tram is because of how the route runs. They had to do a busway because of the bridge between the Europe and Asia sides of Istanbul. This is the only part on the route where the buses have to go onto the regular roads. This is done just for the bridge itself, then after the bridge it goes back to being a busway again. This is because building huge bridges over large bodies of water is expensive, and they want to have as much capacity on that bridge. And if they built it with metro tracks, a lot of that capacity is taken away by the metro. So the only way to get the most value for money on the very expensive bridge that they built is to have it as buses running along with the cars just for that bridge section. Then the buses go straight back to being a busway again after the bridge. And while you might be thinking, couldn't a tram do the same job? Well, with very fast moving traffic on dual carriageways, a tram would just not be appropriate. So because of how this route works, the busway was the only option for the route. So then, let's now take a ride on a bus. This busway runs Mercedes-Benz buses, Octocar buses and Akia double bendy buses. Double bendy buses are very rare, so let's take a ride on one.
daha hızlı ve daha konforlu hizmet alabilmek için metrobüsü istasyonun boş kısımlarında bekleyebilirsiniz.
And now let's take a ride on an Octocar bendy bus. And now let's take a ride on a Mercedes-Benz bus. Normally I don't like Mercedes-Benz because they're too slow and painful, but not these ones. These ones run with very fast acceleration. And now let's take a look at this busway at night time.
Yolcularımız daha güvenli ve tasarruflu
istasyonu boş kısımlarında dönebilirsiniz.
So then, I returned back to the UK. As my aeroplane arrived into Luton Airport, I went and took another ride on the Luton and Dunstable guided busway, because almost 10 years ago I was impressed by it. But would I still be impressed now I've seen Istanbul's busway? And the answer, no. While Luton and Dunstable guided busway is very good for the UK, compared with what goes on in other parts of the world, it's just a bit pathetic really. In those 10 years since I last went on it, I have travelled a lot more, I've seen a lot more of the world, and after I've seen so much of what's out there, the UK feels so half-hearted. Now, one thing a Luton Dunstable guided busway does, which Istanbul didn't do, is that it's a guided busway system. Bus runs along a concrete guideway. And while as a bus enthusiast I might like that, in the real world, does that really benefit things much? To be honest, not really. Then there's the frequency of buses. I'm now used to seeing a bus every 20 seconds. Luton Dunstable doesn't have that. Nowhere near. And that just seems really crap to me. Then there's the acceleration. Those buses in Istanbul accelerated so quickly. Luton Dunstable just has regular bus acceleration. I don't know, it's weird to think this, because 10 years ago I was so impressed by this system, but I've seen so much more of the world now, and Luton Busway is just a bit half-assed.